you don't need a license to drive a car. You don't need to register your car. You don't need any of that shit. The biggest problem with all of this is most cops are fucking idiots and they don't even know the law.
I feel like this is a great way to get people locked the fuck up.
Traveling 85 and 70 when you pass me.
I am not engaging in the commercial use of the highways or byways, nor am I operating in a for-hire capacity.
You got a license plate on the vehicle. They should have issued you something for that license plate. I need that document.
Like I said, this is my private automobile, it's private property.
Okay. You still got to have some kind of paperwork with you, sir.
I don't need to have any of that.
If you do not provide me the documentation, then I will subsequently arrest you for failing to provide proof of insurance at the time of the stop. You can show me all the paperwork you want to, sir, but unless you have coverage at this time that shows this vehicle listed on it, I will arrest you, okay? I don't need none of that documentation. I need the coverage of this vehicle at this time, okay?
Yeah.
Have a good day, sir.
Thank you.
I am the highest version of myself. I'm the highest version of myself. I know I am that I am.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Godspeed Podcast. I am your host, Joe Guy.
And I am Dan Eats Everything.
Hey Dan Eats Everything, how are you today? I almost forgot the the Red Bull. You're so uncivilized.
That's how you know it's good. When you have no choice but to go.
You're actually pretty civilized with the Red Bull drinking and all that kind of stuff.
Is that civilized?
Everybody does it.
Not everybody. Most people like Monster. Or, whatever, something else.
They're all the same.
Celsius is real popular right now.
I feel like they're all the same.
I mean, most of them are owned by 3 different companies at the end of the day. So,
yeah. So you know what we're talking about today? Do you know what we're talking about today?
George Hamilton.
No. George Hamilton.
Benjamin Watson.
Is that a basketball player?
Yeah, he played for the New York Sixers from like 1842 to 1791.
Are you making stuff up?
I don't know.
He's probably making stuff up. So,
mind you, I've been up for like 24 hours.
Ew.
Nothing like working on your day off. Woo! Let's go.
Yeah.
What do you got for me today, buddy? What you tell me? What are we talking about?
Well, today, if I can move this thing, today we're going to be talking about what rights we have as sovereigns, because you're a sovereign, I'm a sovereign. Everybody who thinks they're a citizen isn't really a citizen. They just think they are.
I'm a citizen of the United States of America.
No, you're not.
My birth certificate says otherwise.
Nobody's a citizen of America. America's a corporation. It's not a country.
I mean, it's a business, but
it's not a country, though, and you're not a citizen. The only people that are citizens are people that work for the government. You're a sovereign.
I'm a civilian.
No.
You're gonna have to explain because I don't know what.
Read your hoodie.
Uncivilized.
Yeah, you're not a civilian.
I'm not civilized?
And it's not because you're wearing the hoodie. It's because none of us that don't work for the government, and people that work for the government, but when they're not on the clock, they are not citizens.
Are you the one making shit up?
No.
I feel like you're making
So
shit
I'm gonna let's just dive into the video. So I'm about to play a video where it's just check it out.
Meet your straw man. He was born the same day you were. He looks like you, has the same name, and lives in your house, but you never knew he existed.
You motherfuckers in my house?
He even paid his parking tickets or taxes. The worst part? He's been dead from day one.
I got a dead dude in my
Every birth
house.
certificate, a legal personality, or legal fiction, is created with the same name to confuse little old you into thinking it's you. So, there is a human you and a paper you, or as it's commonly known, a straw man. So when it seems like government officials, court clerks, or the police are speaking English, they aren't. They're speaking legalese, designed to make you agree to verbal and written contracts without even knowing about it. All spun from Black's Law Dictionary.
That's
For
racist.
example, when the police say, "Do you understand?"
You're dumb.
you'll say, "Yes." What they are really saying is, "Do you stand under our authority?" Oopsie-daisy, you just created a verbal contract with them. Oh, you clever government. Did you know that whenever you register something, you are handing over title to the person you register it with? That's right. Whenever you register something with the government, they assume it belongs to them. Registered your car? Super! Now you are the registered keeper of your vehicle, and the government can crush it when you don't pay your, straw man's taxes. Expecting a new bundle of joy? Well, then you need to register your little darling with a birth certificate. Then they can start the process all over again and create a new straw man for your little one. Isn't that great? So when Junior grows up, he'll be able to generate revenue just like you have. When you notify on your baby by signing the birth certificate, your child becomes a ward of state. And if the government doesn't like what you're doing, they'll assume it's okay to take the child away or make new rules for things they don't like. Not enough school? Smacking your child? Shouting too loudly? Then it's off to social services
Part of the
for the
SS.
little one. When you get a bill, it's sent to you, but belongs to your straw man, not you. That's why bills, fines, and summons start with Mr., Mrs., or Ms. Sometimes you'll see your surname in capitals, just like on a gravestone. That's because your straw man is dead, and just a silly piece of paper, created before you could comprehend or even consent to it. When you go to court, you represent your straw man, so you, the human, take on any costs, fees, taxes, and fines involved for the straw man. The human you doesn't even need to pay them. But you made a contract with the court by appearing on behalf of your legal personality or straw man, just like the government knew you would. Confused? Well, don't worry. The government doesn't want you to know anyway. If you knew, you'd stop paying things like council tax and parking tickets. Because when you go to court, you are representing your straw man. You are you, alive and made of flesh and blood. Your straw man, or legal personality, is a piece of paper created from your birth certificate.
What'd you think?
I feel like this is a great way to get people locked the fuck up.
If you don't say the right things, because like you just heard, they go by words from Black's Law Dictionary. I have the 5th edition in my bookcase right now, and the words that they use are different from the words that we think they mean. Like a ton of them. They have different meanings for words, and they use the same words to confuse us, so then we give them jurisdiction over us. There's a guy named Chris Hauser who he's on YouTube. He's done a ton of videos, and he talks about how, so like his very first video on YouTube is he's sitting in a.
Is he part of the SS too?
That's probably an old. He was probably in the Marines. I can't remember, or Marines. He was probably in the Army or one of them. I can't remember if he
I
was
know
or
what
not.
side he was
But
on.
that flag is a United States peace flag. It's a United States flag. It's the peace flag.
Okay.
Anyway, his first video is him in a courtroom. His buddy was his house burnt, and he's fixing his house, and it's taking him a while to fix his house. And the state of Tennessee kept like harassing him and threatening him to knock his house down if he doesn't get it fixed right away, and all this other shit. So he sold his house to this Chris dude, because Chris is into all this stuff. He's a sovereign, like we're all sovereign, but he actually states that he's a sovereign and all this other stuff. But he goes into court for his friend, and his friend sold him the house for like 21 gold coins, and he's got a receipt. And this dude goes into court talking to the board and saying, "You're not going to do shit to the house because it's my house. I didn't register the house, so you guys have no authority over me. I'll sue you for trespassing and all this other shit." And literally shut them down because they knew exactly what he was talking about, and they knew that they couldn't fuck with him because he knew his way around the actual laws, which laws are only involved in commercial. They're policies. The police officers, they don't have jurisdiction over you. They're policy enforcers. They enforce policy, which only involves commercial acts. You don't need, we're getting into this later on, but you don't need a license to drive a car. You don't need to register your car. You don't need any of that shit. The biggest problem with all of this is most cops are fucking idiots and they don't even know the law. Like, we're going to go into it more. I don't want to get ahead of myself. They set up the birth certificate system. So everybody thinks that the dollar isn't backed by anything because we don't have gold and silver. The dollar is backed by us because our Social Security number is our trust fund account. So anytime we do any kind of transaction, credit-wise or phone bills or power bills or anything like that, the company that we're going through is taking the money out of our trust account and then charging us interest and charging it back on us. So we're paying double every single time we get anything. So say you got a loan, say you went to Chase Bank and you got a $100,000 loan, okay? They give you that loan because they take it from your account. That's what you're signing on. You're signing their documents to give them permission to take the money from your trust account, and then what do? They charge you interest and make you pay it back when you shouldn't have to pay a dime. The biggest issue with all of this is nobody knows about it. So when you call up fucking Allstate and you tell them, just take the money out of my account, it's already paid for, nobody that you talk to, unless you actually get in touch with the accounting or the underwriter of whatever account you've opened, unless you get in touch with that person, everyone's going to act like they don't know because most people don't know.
Don't you think if more people did this and knew about it, it would spread like wildfire?
Yeah, it is.
It is.
It is. It is spreading.
Then why is this the first time I've ever heard about it?
It was the first time I've told you about it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Don't you? I mean, I know a lot of people. Don't you think more people would know about this?
No, because nobody knows about it. That's the problem. Nobody knows that we're literally. They use our. You've heard about them trading us on the stock market and shit, right?
No.
Yeah, dude. They trade our birth certificates and shit on the stock market. For real.
Huh?
Yeah, dude. All right, so here's a guy on Johnny Carson, national television. This
Dude, I
dude's
feel like you
talking
smoked.
about
I
same
feel like
thing.
you smoked some shit today, buddy. Are you sure? You sure about
Yes.
this one?
Yeah.
Go ahead, play it.
Johnny Carson.
How do you know that to be your name?
Well, it's on a birth certificate, legally
That's
recorded.
hearsay.
That's hearsay?
Of course.
Well, I mean, if it's legally recorded.
That's still hearsay. Suppose you were born, and I must assume that you were born because you're here tonight with us. There's a certificate made out not by you, certificate made out by somebody else. That a boy child was born to Mr. and Mrs. Carson, and that he was named Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that you know that to be the fact. That means you have read that to be the fact.
Yeah, I see what you mean. In other words, I only have to go by what is recorded.
You're pleading guilty to something that you don't know of your own knowledge.
In other words, I should have said, if somebody asked me who I am, I say I plead not guilty. Right? It doesn't go quite that far.
not that
Plead
far.
not guilty. I see what you mean. That is hearsay. I'm only
Hearsay.
accepting what somebody has
But
said.
somebody else has said.
But that would be legal. I mean, if you come in with a birth certificate that proves you're born.
Well, birth certificates are legal until they're attacked and proved to be invalid. That has happened too.
So you're not your birth certificate. You're not your social security card. You're not your name. You're Dan. That's it.
Eats everything.
Your Dan eats everything. Like, yo, shit's crazy. The shit you find out when you actually look into it. There's so much out there. Here's a guy talking about how there's land laws and there's laws of the sea,
All right.
and how that's how they,
Play it.
get us.
Play it.
Well, let me give you another. It just strikes me. Let me give you a quick example about the maritime law, the law of water, the law of the sea. Money is water by law. So when a ship, this is why all ships are female by law. All ships, rocket ship, sailing ship, airship, it doesn't matter if it's a ship, it's female.
Right.
Because the captain always refers to his ship as she.
Right.
She's a good ship, or she's done this. Why she? Because she delivers the product.
Right, the
Without
vessel.
she, there is no product, right?
It's a vessel. It's a
Of course, it is a vessel. So is your body. It's a vessel that produces a product.
Right.
So when the ship pulls into harbor, it stops, and where it parks is called its berth. It's berthing a ship, or she sits in her berth. And every item on that ship, coming out that ship, is money. It's money changing hands.
Right.
It came in on water. So it's called. So every piece has to have what is called a certificate of manifest, because she is sitting in her berth. That's why when you were born,
I had a birth
your mother's water broke. You were inside a container of water. Her water broke, and you came out, and therefore you have to have a birth certificate.
Wow.
There, and it's got to be signed by the dock, because that's where the ship is sitting. The dock is where the ship sits.
It's funny.
So once you begin to see how the words and terms are all based on maritime admiralty, the law of water, the cash flow, the liquid asset.
But it's not just in English, the dock, the water.
Yeah, of course. But of course, it goes all the way back to the English or British domination of the seas.
Oh.
And so when the British began to dominate the seas, the Knights Templar Masonic Order of the Knights Templars, who have been in the middle of Asia, came back into Western Eastern Europe, brought all of these concepts, and it was developed into a commercial system of words and terms and symbols which are used in courts and government and corporations. So that's why when you go into a court, you have a fence and a gate. The people sit out here and the judge sits inside. The gate is called a floodgate. When you go through the canal, you have a floodgate.
Right.
So when you're sitting out here, you're in the law of the land. The judge has no control or no jurisdiction over the people sitting out here. No jurisdiction whatsoever.
Right, because they're outside the gate.
That's outside the gate.
Right.
That's on land.
Right.
But when you walk past that gate, now you're in hot water. And someone's going to have to bail you out.
Bail, yeah.
Okay.
Bail. Did you write a book about all these
No,
maritime
I've just been studying it for 48 years.
Wow.
But it's fascinating because when you understand that the whole subject is so large, and it would take hours and I'd have to go back to square one and walk through all the words and terms that are used in law and courts and commerce.
Yeah.
For you to understand how pervasive this concept of water is on the earth.
Wow.
The law of water, maritime admiralty, it's an extraordinary story about how governments rule the world. And unless you understand this, you're never going to figure out what's going on. Look at it. When you walk into a courtroom and they call your name, you get up and you put your hand on the gate and you open the gate. The moment you put your hand on the gate, by international law, you of your own volition have opened yourself up to maritime admiralty law, because you were on the law of the land. As long as you don't touch that gate and go through it, you haven't opened the floodgate. Now, once you open the floodgate, there's a piece of wood on top of that gate, and it's called the bar, and you're not licensed to pass the bar. So what you've done is you've opened the floodgate, but you weren't licensed to pass the bar.
So what does that
So
mean?
that means that you are dead. You are now dead. Once you touch that, you're dead.
Because you're no longer in control of
That's right. You are dead. Well, you're considered to be a dead man. That's why the attorney has to speak for you. He has to represent
why
you.
are you dead? Because
you went into the deep water and you died. You drowned.
Because you weren't licensed. Because you weren't.
Right. You were not licensed to pass the bar. And the bar represents a sandbar in the ocean. But the bar is what the attorneys are licensed to pass, but you're not. So the point being is that when you open that gate of your own volition, you are considered by law to be a dead man.
Really?
That's why you cannot talk to the judge, because dead people don't talk to judges. So you need an attorney who is your mouthpiece. He speaks for you because you're dead.
Well, should we do away with courts so people can get their lives back?
I would think that what you want to do is understand how the system works.
Wow, man.
So what do you think about that video?
Super interesting. I learned a lot. I don't know how much of it is real, but I learned a lot.
Yeah, I get it. For real. And these are regular people though. So it's hard to say what's real and shit.
Yeah.
So here's a guy. Go ahead.
No, it's all, I don't know, man. Seems a little fishy. Like they want you to.
I get it.
We talked about private prisons, and this is a good way to get people to commit crimes so they could put you in that private prison and make real money off you.
Yeah, but these people aren't. I mean, they could be bought people trying to just throw a video out there, but you saw how old that video was. Like, these aren't.
Yeah, I feel like that guy was trying to make a joke though. He's not Johnny Carson. He's trying to be funny.
Well, I'm talking about the law guy. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. The videos were made decades ago. So like, getting people that learning about it now in trouble doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm very skeptical about this whole thing.
This guy, I know. This guy got pulled over by a cop.
Oh, I love these videos. You guys like?
Well, this isn't him getting pulled over. This is the aftermath of him getting pulled over.
Oh, okay. Even better.
Even better.
Yeah, no, I love these videos.
Constitutional
I
lawyer.
don't go anywhere without this. This is my traffic book right here. And if you read down below, public servant officer, it pretty much says to him, when a cop pulls me over, you're losing potato chips. But when a cop pulls me over, the first thing I do is I ask him, what's your emergency and how may I assist you? And he's going to ask for my driver's license and insurance or whatever. And I said, well, before we go there, I need you to fill this out. And I take that sheet of paper out of there and hand it to him. Before we can go any further, you need to fill this out. Once he reads this, it already puts him on notice that I'm not playing games with him. And then you open up the book, and that is so poignant. And here's the case I won against Harris County. Harris County, I always take my name out because I'm not going to give my name until you can give me what's called, and police always call it, it's RAS. What's your RAS? And they automatically assume I'm a cop because I'm using their lingo. And what RAS stands for, reasonable articulable suspicion that I've committed a crime. Okay? You don't have that? Okay, what's your SAF? Single articulable fact. Well, you don't have that either? Okay, you've just basically said that there's no reason to pull me over because you haven't seen a crime. Okay, here's the case I won against Harris County. You can see the stamps and date. And they ended up buying me a brand new Porsche 911 Turbo all-wheel drive convertible with them pulling me over and letting me spend a night in jail. So, and here's the lawsuit, and I've got these for everybody to see. And you can see that it's all put together. And there it is, signed by the DA and stamped, showing they lost the case.
And they lost it, and they paid
and
you
I
what?
sued them.
And what did you win?
$250,000 for a night in jail. And then Supreme Court says no license necessary to drive an automobile on public highways. Now these are all documented. So what this is called stare decisis. Okay, we're running a case that's already been won in the Supreme Court, and they're in violation of their oath of office when they don't pay attention. My license plate doesn't give you, if you look at my license plate, the license plate alone says I'm not in commerce. Now, if I have a license plate like this car over here and that car over there, they all have license plates. License plates mean I'm engaged in commerce.
They pulled him over because he didn't have a license plate. He wouldn't give him his license, and his car's not registered. So they arrested him, put him in jail, and he sued him and won the case. And he showed you the Supreme Court ruling on it. There's legitimate, you could find documentation on this that the Supreme Court says straight up, you don't need a license to drive a car unless you're doing Uber, you're a taxi, you're driving a work car like I do every day. So this is the date that the Supreme Court ruled it. Well, this is the date that they came out with the dude that was talking about it. Supreme Court says no license necessary to drive an automobile. And this is what they said. This is what the Supreme Court says. The right of a citizen to travel upon the public highways and to transport his property therein by horse-drawn carriage, wagon, or automobile is not a mere privilege which may be permitted or prohibited at will, but a common right which he has under his right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Under this constitutional guarantee, one may, therefore, under normal conditions, travel at his inclination along the public highways or in public places, and while conducting himself in an orderly and decent manner, neither interfering with nor disturbing another's rights. He will be protected not only in his person, but in his safe conduct. That's from the Supreme Court, which means you don't need a license to drive a car. It doesn't need to be registered. You don't need a driver's license. I already said that part. You don't need a license plate is what I meant to say. But we all think we do, so then we can give the fucking government a shit ton of money that they don't deserve. That's from the Supreme Court.
I'm gonna have to Google this.
Look,
I'm gonna have to
Google
look
this. Registration by political subdivision prohibited. This says the same thing. You don't have to do all this stuff. And at the bottom it says this does not affect the authority of the municipality to license or regulate the use of motor vehicles for compensation, which means if you're doing it, they can get you in trouble if you're doing it for compensation, for commerce purposes, because the United States is a business. It's a corporation. That's why when you die, you're a corpse, because you're no longer part of the corporation. What say you, bud?
I've been lied to. I've been lied to this whole time,
dude. We've been lied to like dude. Every episode we've been lied to about.
Why
shit.
would they lie?
You could use it on this episode too. See?
Why would they lie?
For billions and billions of dollars every day. That's why they would lie. To keep us down.
I'm getting tired of their lies, bro.
Bro, here's the website. I'll put it behind me. It's uslawbooks.com, and you can literally, all of these in blue and red are links to laws that they don't really tell us about, and all this shit you can figure out for yourself and read.
Whoa, you got to read?
Yeah, but dude, what I'm telling you, dude, so that Chris Hauser guy, not only did he go into court and help his buddy out for a permit, but he's put lien. He liened his wife and got $4 million from her.
He leaned on his wife?
He put a lien on his wife.
Can you put a lien on me and get $4 million, please? I'll split it with you.
Yeah, I can. I just got to figure out how to do it. But dude, there's 1099As, there's 1099Cs, there's all kinds of forms that we can use. There's a form called the W-8BN that you can file with your work, and they will not take taxes out of your paycheck anymore because you're not a citizen. That form, you fill it out and you put that you're not a citizen of the United States, and they don't take taxes out of your paycheck anymore.
I would love to not pay taxes.
Fill out a W-8BN with your work, and
yeah,
you
but
won't
what
pay
is
taxes.
what is that form saying?
It's saying that you're not a citizen of the United States because you're not. None of us are. It's legal.
No, I live here. What do you mean?
Yeah, you are a sovereign on the land. When we went to Sedona and I grabbed all those petrified rocks from the land and didn't pay for them or go to the gift shop to buy them because they just went and picked them from that land, I'm not paying them for shit that I could just pick up off the ground that I am a part of. You're a part of the land. I'm a part of the land.
Well,
just because there's a corporation that tries to take over all these lands means jack shit.
Well, I did go to the gift shop and I did pay for mine. So
yeah, and you also grabbed some. Also, you paid for like one or two before we went out.
I would
and
never
looked at
do
the
that.
land.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
that's weird. Why would you bring? That's strange. I'd never.
So you think that you have to pay taxes?
I think that I know people have gone to jail for not paying taxes
because they don't. Anytime you get arrested, you go to jail. It's because they're using legalese to trap you into being under their jurisdiction. Or you just don't know what you're talking about and you go to jail because you let them put you in jail. Here's a video talking about how taxes, there's no law to pay taxes.
There is no law, and to date, nobody has been able to show that there is a law for the average American citizen working day in and day out to pay an income tax.
But We the People Foundation for Constitutional Education put a full-page ad in the USA Today on July 7th, 2000. And within the body of that ad was a $50,000 challenge for anyone that could show the law. And to me, $50,000 is a lot of money. So I went after that and did the research based on the fact that I thought, let's put this baby to bed. I'm hearing all these rumors. You know, I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. I'll answer these people's questions that are asking me, and then I'll win this $50,000. And, you know, based on the research that I did throughout the year 2000 and that I'm still doing, I have not found that law. I've asked Congress. We've asked a lot of people in the IRS commissioners, helpers. They can't answer, because if they answer, the American people are going to know that this whole thing is a fraud.
There is no law. There is no law that requires the average American worker in the private sector to pay a direct, unapportioned tax on their labor and compensation for services. There is no law.
I really expected that, of course, there's a law that you can point to in the law book, the code, that requires you to file a tax return. Of course there is. Maybe I don't know what it is right then as he was speaking to me, but sure. So naively, I agreed to go off and research it and get back to him. 3.5 months later, I was at that point where I couldn't find the statute that clearly made a person liable, at least not me and most people I know. And I had no choice in my mind except to resign.
I had to leave the IRS because I presented evidence that I had accumulated indicating that the agency was violating the law and violating people's rights. And I asked the agency for a response to my sincere concerns. And the answer I got was that they would not respond to my concerns and that they would provide me with the paperwork necessary to tender my resignation.
All right, so what do you think about that?
I think paid actors, all of them.
Yeah?
Yeah, dude, like,
Paid
come
actors,
on,
huh?
man. Dude, like I said, if this was legit, more people would be doing it. It would spread like wildfire.
All right, so you think you have to pay taxes then?
I mean, I'm going to keep paying them until somebody proves to me that they don't have to.
Well, I can prove it to you.
Bro, I don't want to visit you. I don't want to visit you in white collar prison, bro.
You're not going to.
I'll put money on your books and shit, dog. Well, what the fuck?
You're not going to, dude. It's all legal.
Yeah, I know I'm not going to. I'll put money on your books, bro.
All right, so you remember when our president, not the one that pretends to be president right now, our actual president,
Obama.
Fuck that motherfucker and his husband. So you remember the best president we ever had when they were going after him for taxes and trying to arrest him and shit? Here is the IRS commissioner, Stephen Miller, getting grilled by Xavier Becerra on C-SPAN.
Because it's a voluntary system of payment of our taxes.
Agreed.
And so you are right, it was a foolish mistake, but the president's even more correct that it was outrageous and intolerable. Now, let me also focus on something, Mr. George, you said. When you were asked, was there any finding or evidence of political motivation here, you said no.
That's correct, sir.
Okay. And so what we find is a situation where inexcusable activity took place because it erodes the confidence of the American people in a system where they participate voluntarily. And if there's a place in public service where you have to have the highest level of conduct and standards, it's at the IRS. And so, Mr. Miller, I think it's unfortunate for those who are in positions of authority, but the buck has to stop somewhere, and I think that's exactly what we're saying. That should not diminish the good work that has been done by anyone within the IRS over the years. And so I hope you understand that you are here today talking to us because we need to get to the bottom of this. We need to clean up and clear out so we can go back to the business of making sure that people respect the fact that we have a voluntary system of paying our taxes.
Boom! Shit's voluntary. You can also go to Cornell Law, the website, and literally, I'll put it behind me. There's a statement that says taxes are voluntary. They're voluntary, bro. The reason why Wesley Snipes went to prison for not paying his taxes is because he's a paid actor, and they needed to they needed to show you that this huge actor went to jail because he didn't pay his taxes.
I'm gonna reach out.
It's all a fucking show.
I'm gonna reach out to my accountant.
Go for it. Taxes are voluntary.
If
Getting pulled over and letting the cops arrest you is voluntary. You need to figure out what you're supposed to say to them.
What are you supposed to say?
For one, did you know it's illegal? It's a felony for a cop to put his emergency lights on if there's no emergency.
I filed suit in 1975 against 16 state officials, including Governor Reagan and all of their wives.
And all of their wives?
Yes, sir. When the officer pulls his red lights on you, he's declaring an emergency. That's a felony when there is no emergency.
Oh, wow.
So he's already violated his job, oath of office, when he turns his red lights on to stop you.
Yeah, dude. So, all these laws, it's a felony for a cop to put his emergency lights on.
I think you're...
Unless there's an emergency. Prove me wrong. Are you frozen? You glitching out?
Bro, I don't know if it's because I've been up for too long, but this is some wild boy shit, man. I think you're just... Are you fucking with me this episode?
No.
I feel like you're fucking with me.
Nah, dude. There's also... you can... So when a company uses your social security number, you can audit them. Because technically, if they're using your social security number, you're an employee of that company. So you can audit them for unpaid money that's owed to you by them. Like I said, your social security number is traded all the time. They use it all the time without your knowledge. So if you have Chase Bank, they've used your social security number numerous times without your knowledge. And every time they use your social security number, they owe you money. So you can audit them, have the IRS audit them, and get money back. It's called a W-4 sandwich, for those interested.
What kind of sandwich?
W-4 sandwich.
I could eat 4 sandwiches. Bro.
You don't believe anything I'm saying.
What's your favorite sandwich?
There's no such thing as a fruit sandwich.
I like chicken parm.
I'm sure you're gonna send me a gay joke later. Hey, what's a gay orgy? A fruit sandwich. What's a gay threesome called? A fruit sandwich. He asked me what my favorite soup was in the JFK episode, and then after the episode, he messaged me and goes, "What do you call a gay orgy?" And I said, "I don't know what." He said, "Fruit soup." I'm like, yeah.
I never said any of that.
Yes, you did.
I like chicken parm. That's all I'm getting at, man. That's my favorite sandwich. 4 sandwiches. I can eat 4 chicken parm sandwiches.
You can eat 4 of them.
4, yeah.
That's impressive.
I put it down, bro. I eat everything.
He does eat everything. Hey, everybody. Like, share, subscribe. Throw us a comment on how wild and crazy you think I am.
This shit is some bullshit, man.
You don't believe any of it?
I don't know, dude. Like, no, here's the thing. I've seen videos of people talking to cops in that whatever way you're mentioning right now, where they use certain lingo and,
get away
and just drive away. I've seen that, but the whole tax thing, bro, I don't know, dude. Like,
you just saw C-SPAN telling you they're voluntary.
Here's the thing. I hope you're right and I hope more information and more people will figure this shit out and do something about it and make it more
known.
Yeah, more common. Because then I feel like more people.
Because you don't want to be the guinea pig.
No, I'm not, bro. I'm too pretty for jail. Fuck that.
Yo, the only reason why I have plates on my truck
with these eyes. You trying to put me in jail with these eyes, dog? Come on, man.
My eyes.
I
got beautiful eyes. Your crazy eyes.
But yeah, man, I'm not trying to be the guinea pig, and I would love to not pay taxes because, bro, I claim 0 all year, give them a ridiculous amount of money, and then still end up owing at the end of the year. I understand different tax brackets. I get that. But come on, man. Stop it.
Bro, you don't have to. It's voluntary. Mm-hmm. You didn't see the Cornell thing I played behind me? No, you didn't, because it's green screen right now.
The thing about Cornell is Andy went there. And
no, dude, it's Cornell Law. They have a website where they put all the laws.
So it's online law college. That's even less reputable.
No, it's an online website that shows all of the laws. fucking guy. So hard. Every episode, it's like I'm a dentist and I'm like yanking teeth without the correct tools.
You should get the right tools, bro. This is on you.
I have all the right tools. You just have cognitive dissonance.
I'm not that far from you.
But before you get offended by cognitive dissonance, do you know what the cognitive dissonance means?
No.
You really don't?
Explain it to me.
Have you been offended all these other episodes?
Every time you say it, I think you're calling me dumb, right?
No. Cognitive dissonance is I had it when I started learning about flat Earth.
I'm consciously distant from you.
No, that's not what it means. I had it for a couple months after finding out about flat Earth. I had cognitive dissonance. It's when you know something your whole entire life, and then you get evidence to the contrary, so you reject the new evidence and stick with your original line of thinking because you're so ingrained with knowing a certain fact, and when that fact becomes not a fact, you fight it. Even if you're not meaning to, you're subconsciously fighting it. And I get it. I've been there. So every episode, every week, I'm coming up with new shit that nobody knows about.
You said it. You're coming up with new shit. You just admitted it. Bitch.
I'm bringing up new stuff that most people don't research and don't learn about because it's not part of the mainstream. And the mainstream is owned by 13 bloodlines in 6 companies, and they all want you to know, they want everybody to know the same shit and believe the same shit so they can keep their control. And them's is the facts. Like last week, those are mountains.
I was just up on a mountain.
You were on a tree stump.
Felt like a rock to me.
Yeah, and so did the rock you picked up from the petrified forest. That was a tree.
I would never touch anything in the petrified forest. I didn't touch one single rock.
He's lying.
Lying like a what? Like a log.
Like a rug.
Like a log. Lying like a log. Wood. There's a difference.
You're ridiculous.
Joe, what'd you eat today, Joe?
Some cashews and a watermelon. Why?
See what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying?
About what? That I eat watermelon?
I'm just saying. They know. They know.
All right. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe. Tell all your friends.
Yeah.
Like, yo, there's this crazy motherfucker on YouTube. He's denying that mountains are tree stumps and shit. And you thought I was the crazy? No, you are.
I can get behind that.
You're uncivilized.
Joe, I love you, brother.
Are you God speeding me right now?
Are we not speeding God?
Wow, he's signing off, and the episode was all right, God. No, all right, yeah, we're pretty much done.
Oh my god, I'm so confused right now. Dude, this episode threw me for a fucking loop, bro.
I know, you didn't even get like the TV ready with anything like comparable or.
I mean, it's pretty.
It's pretty.
Like your eyes. Godspeed.
Godspeed, bro.
You've reached the offices of the Godspeed podcast. We are currently closed. Please leave your information and someone will return your call within 24 business days. Thank you.
This is a prepaid call from
Daniel Courtwright
at the Maricopa County Jail, connecting you.
Joe, you gotta get me the fuck out of here, dude. I took your advice and told the cop to fuck off when they asked for my license and registration. And he broke my window, dragged me out of the car, beat the shit out of me, knocked out my 4 front teeth, dude. Like, how the fuck am I supposed to do Dan eats everything when I can't take a bite out of anything? What the fuck, man? This is ridiculous. Get me the fuck out of here, Joe.